Okay. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Flex in the City. I'm Rada.
And I'm Lisa, and this is episode
45.
45.
Yay!
Almost at 50.
Almost at 50. I'm
Episode
excited.
numbers, not
Yeah.
age also.
That's true. Damn.
We're getting there. I'm getting there sooner, but yeah.
No, not that much sooner, honey.
Like a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Listen, you know it makes a difference.
Which is like kind of
it's
getting into the topic that we're kind of talking about
actually,
today.
yes, that was a beautiful segue.
I'm excited for today's topic.
I am as well. You did a lot of very great research. I contributed next to nothing in preparation, but I'll make up for that. I wasn't well.
Oh, but stop. I don't know what she's talking about. Don't listen to what she's talking about right now. This is like a give and take, remember?
This is true.
It's like a partnership.
Symbiotic.
Balance.
Balance.
So I think today's topic is...
Speaking of France. Sorry, sideways.
How you guys doing?
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll leave it at that.
Today's topic, I think, is going to be one that I think all of our listeners can relate to, have maybe even pondered it. And I think men and women alike will have felt this pressure, which is Absolutely. This idea of, these glow ups that we now are hearing about all the time, and the expectation, like in the 90s, it was all about being thin, being a size 0, but now it's all about being well, like wellness and mindset and all of that. And it's like the pressure is still there, but the packaging has changed. Right. And I think what I would want to know is like, can you think of when it first started with you, when you started feeling like let's take social media, where you started feeling like, oh, I need to put my journey out on social media for it to be legitimized, for it to be like, yeah, I am on this journey. Check my journey out. Is this, if everybody doesn't know about this, then can I really say that I have?
If there's no video, did it really happen?
Did it really happen?
Yeah. I've actually never felt, and I've expressed this to you, felt a fear of sharing my journey, because I'm like, if I'm not consistent, I'm going to be judged. Or if I'm not fitting into whatever category I present as, there's going to be some kind of backlash. And plus, like, the internet can be mean. So it's been really scary for me to think about publicizing any part of my whatever personal journey it is. But what I can relate to is largely like when I started really committing to weight training and CrossFit, I was just out of, it's a big part of my life. I was really excited about it. I was like, people need to know about this, and if it can inspire people, great. I would post like a lot of my workout videos, or I would post like, oh, this was like my PR today, or this is the workout I did today, or this morning I was at the gym. So I do that, and you get the feedback. You get people who are like, oh, thanks for like inspiring me. And that like fuels, because you're getting positive affirmation for what you're putting out. You're like, oh, people like this content. Also, like, I'm inspiring people. But then now you've created an expectation, and you've created a persona, because they don't know you. They don't know me, Lisa, the person who at the time was doing the job I was doing, who's also like doing other things, who does this, who loves to eat that, or they were just seeing me in what I was choosing to present.
In that small segment.
Exactly. And so now we've created this relationship where I'm like, I enjoy the feedback you're giving me, and they're like, we expect the content you've told us you're going to get. And so when you veer off that, social media and analytics will even tell you, girl, you're losing your audience, because the people that came here for A are not sticking around to hear B.
Right.
And so when you try to present yourself in a different way, or expand the information, or even go through a transition yourself, and you're like, hey, this is part of my journey, it's going in a different direction, some people are going to be like,
no.
Yeah. And
like
so
the realness, they don't want to see it.
Right. And if they came for the realness, and then you post like, a cute like thirst trap, they're going to be like,
Mm-hmm.
I was not here for that. And we know a lot of fitness influencers that have battled both
Both
sides of that.
worlds, yeah.
Yeah. So, not that I was a fitness influencer, but I just mean
I
it's
would
the
say you
industry.
you are.
I don't think I would be considered an influencer with like my point 0.2 followers.
I mean, you're on the
All of whom I
road.
love.
You're on
But
the road to
yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, if that's what it comes into, but I would more like to go beyond just the fitness and try to, like we just discussed, be more holistic and fair to the other factors in my life, the other parts of my life. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying to find where that balance is, whilst maintaining a level of privacy
Right.
still. So this, I would say, the pressure I felt for the first time was when I was like, I'm not looking for an audience. I just want to post this because I'm really like passionate about it. Oh my God, I'm getting responses and I'm getting like more followers and I'm getting questions and interaction and validation.
Mm-hmm.
And then now that creates a pressure because you know that there's an expectation, or someone will say something like, how come we haven't seen you working out in a week? And you're
Yeah.
like,
Oh shit, I need to put something out. But at the
exactly,
same time, you want to put something out because you want to get that validation back. Like it's like
exactly.
a,
It's this like feeding, like that, whatever that snake is called, it's like eating its tail.
yeah.
And then there's also this feeling of if something changes, like, I went through this hormonal period where like my skin got really bad and I like was just gaining weight even when I was consuming less calories and I was still training 7 days a week, and I didn't know what was wrong with me during that period of time. But people will tell you, I don't care what's wrong with you. You don't look like the whole I signed up to listen to and to watch. This is not inspiring. This is not why I'm here. Fix it.
Yeah.
And so people in so many and not so many words will kind of give you that. And then that's what creates, how, depending on how you choose to receive it, but most often a really like negative sort of feeling. And then, you know, can take you in a direction where something that was good, something also that has a potential to be good, which is like, hey, the journey is winding. The journey is not linear. The journey is got bumps in the road. Like I could talk about that and inspire another group of people. But because now I've been forced into a shell because I'm afraid of pissing off
One
group A,
person.
or yeah, this one person who just that day was like,
Yeah.
felt like going off, I have not only like retreated, but I've also now like looked at my journey as something negative. So that's a negative influence on myself, but also potentially like negatively impacted what could have been helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, so this is part of like the duality of the pressure, because the pressure can also be something that's like, I need to show up for my people. I need to like inspire them. I know that like I told like that group of people that we would have a live this morning. I don't feel like it, but I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm going to show up, and I'll feel better after. So it can have positives, that like expectation, but it's hard. I realize with social media to whatever it is that validates you, to kind of keep that on a positive front, and that's kind of what creates this pressure that's unfortunately a different version of this pressure that we've suffered through for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think with that in mind, like the fact that it is so public, like
Yeah,
you don't have these glow ups or, I mean, what's another word we can use instead of, I think glow up makes
it's a
the
good
most
one.
sense,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like
And everyone knows what that
you
means.
don't do it in private anymore. The fact that you are like you said, you talked about this pressure that you have to show up, that you need to show
Right.
up. I think maybe, do we all feel like we need to be inspirations, or is it because we need to feel good about ourselves and we want that
Hmm.
feedback from people, to like the likes and the comments and whatever, like
And the
what is it? I mean,
interaction.
it could be, everybody's different, right? It's subjective. Like one person A can say, no, I actually just, want to feel liked and
Hmm.
feel popular and,
Yeah.
be one of those top influencers. And then there's some people that are like, no, I show up because I want to show up for people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in that regard, you're still showing up publicly.
Right. And I think in either case, you can't control how whatever you show up for is received.
Yeah.
So your reasons might vary between one person and the next, and the reception might still be the same.
Yeah.
So the person who's like, I just want to be popular and liked, and another person who's like, I just want to inspire the right people and sort of like really reach out to this niche market, like you might get the exact same types of DMs or responses or comments on your stuff because it's all about how the recipients decide to consume it. So that lack of control is also hard. But what you said, I think, is also important with even the terminology that we use as you're going through this journey of whatever it is, transforming or growth or whatever. We use this term, it's been coined glow up, because it's meant to be a transformation that ultimately leads to like a more beautiful, like a metamorphosis, like you're about to become a butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas some people will be like a disgusting larva, and then you show people that I'm going to be this caterpillar first. It's not so great. And then maybe I might turn into a butterfly, but that process might take even longer. And sometimes people don't want to be there for the growth that doesn't have the glow. Man, my stomach is making sounds.
I don't hear it.
Okay, it was like,
So,
I hope you guys don't hear it. They don't want to be there for the period of growth that doesn't have the glow, right?
right.
And also some people are like, I don't really want to show people how ugly it gets, because there's a vulnerability there that connects to the fear of how you're going to be seen. And so I think this is the difficulty, the pressure to be that finished, beautiful product, whatever that might be, and the pressure now to do it in a beautiful way, I think has like doubled down on something that always existed, that still exists, but now is this added like, be better, be healthier, be beautiful, but yes, do it in a holistic, healthy, like altruistic way where you love everyone in the world and all plants and animals around you.
But still be a size 0.
But yes, but still like be something we want to look at, still fit into this box, and still be a nice person about it, and still take these negative comments and turn them into flowers at the end of the day. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and glow up to the thing I expect you to glow up to. Right. Don't consider what you want to glow up as, whatever that might be to you. Do it in what I expect you to be. So if you say, oh, I'm starting my glow up journey, everyone will confirm or assume she's going to try and lose weight. She's going to try and get like, more muscle tone. She's going to try and maybe eat better, like get better eating habits. She's going to try and maybe meditate more. Like you can almost guess before someone even tells you what their goal is. If they say, I'm starting a glow up, this is the expectation. No one's going to expect someone to say, I'm starting a glow up journey, and I want to basically take focus off of my fitness journey and more onto my internal journey of growth, which is going to mean digging through all of the childhood drama that I haven't dealt with, and really like getting into the underbelly of what my issues are today as a grown woman. People are like, I'm not here for that. So
that's too much for people, and that for them is when it gets too heavy.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, like they want almost like this picture perfect polished image.
Right.
And that's why there's also this
polished is the word.
Where like you see these women, whether it's these influencers or like big time celebrities. I mean, we all forget that. So let's take celebrities, for example. Like they have their own makeup team. They have like trainers around the clock. They have gyms built into their houses, nutritionists, like you said, all of that. And so then they come on social media and they'll be like, I woke up like this. And you have someone like J-Lo, who's 56 years old.
She's 56.
And I think she claims that she doesn't do any Botox or anything. But she's also not mentioning that she probably does all the crazy ass facials, like where they suck out the blood and then they twirl it around in a machine and then they suck it back into you.
Or what's the other one? The salmon sperm one?
Yeah, something like, bitch, I know you're doing something.
Yeah, come on now.
Like,
come
that's
on.
not possible.
You looked older 5 years ago, and then you had a little something, and now you look younger. Nah.
So then you have us as the viewers who see this and go, okay, she says she's done it naturally.
So what's my problem?
Okay, let me go to a surgeon and just have him do, what did you call it? The BBL,
the booty, this
boobs,
Brazilian butt lift.
the Brazilian butt
Yeah.
lift. I'll
Yeah, let
do
me get a
that, or I'll do
BBL
Botox, or I'll do something
because
because it's a quick fix. I can get it done.
yeah.
But like we all know that that's not what's happening on the other side of these celebrities. They're in the gym all day long. They're getting these facials, they're getting these treatments, they're eating the right foods. They have chefs that are doing it for them.
And the irony is, I would want to see that process. Like, show me you sweating in the gym, which some of them do,
Some of them do.
sweating in
Yeah.
the gym. Um, but show me the days when you wake up and you're like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Or when your trainer makes you cry.
Yeah.
Or when you look in the mirror and you're like, I've worked so hard this last month and I don't feel any kind of progress. Like, this is kind of what I want to see. But at the same time, and this is everyone and myself included, I'm like, I also kind of don't want to see that because I just want the polished, kind
Yeah,
of
like
light,
one of the Williams
fluffy
sisters. Remember, you told me like one time she was super raw post baby
post. Yeah, yeah,
delivery, and
Serena.
you were like, I don't want to see
Yeah,
this.
and I was like, I think it's amazing that she was playing and beating people when she was like pregnant. That's amazing. And then like when she talked about how hard it was for her to lose weight postpartum, myself included, and I think a lot of people can like attest to this. Like people were like, all right, we get it, you're struggling. Like now just go fix it. Like, you know, but that was like the conditioning, I
Yeah.
think. The fact that we have been fed everything in like 3 second, like bite-sized pieces. We want instant results, instant gratification, instant show me what I need to get my dopamine fix, which is a pretty picture. But then at the same time, we're like, we want this honest, raw inspiration.
But we really
But do
don't.
we? Yeah,
Yeah.
because we've been trained to see that that's not really what we want.
Yeah.
But also, when you're inspired by someone, you kind of don't want to see them be as human as you are,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because you're like, she's an inspiration, like with Serena. She's an inspiration and amazing. And she did all these things that I couldn't imagine even like jogging 1 kilometer when I was pregnant, either time. And she was playing tennis and beating their asses. And amazing, inspiring. And then afterwards, and she's like, "Oh, I'm struggling, and you know, I've worked so hard, and I'm not losing the weight." I know what that feels like, but I'm like, I don't want to hear about you saying
Yeah.
it because if you, as a professional athlete with a trainer, with
the means to get all of the help that you possibly could
yeah,
want and need,
and then you can't, I'm like,
what does that
where's my
mean for me?
inspiration?
Yeah.
I'm not inspired.
But
You're human.
yeah, it also means though,
How
like
dare you?
if you're struggling and you're down here, that must mean that I'm like down
I'm
here.
under the ground.
I'm under the ground.
Yeah.
Like there's no hope for me.
Yeah, because now, like, even with all you have, you can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna get there.
Yeah.
So it almost has this opposite effect. And then at the same time, like now when she comes out and she's like, oh, I'm on this like whatever she said she was on now the other week, that she's on this
like a diet
a
or
GLP-1. Yeah, that her husband is on the board of the company, but basically she's on this weight loss drug. And when she came out, there's a huge backlash because we're like, girl, you're a professional athlete. What are you doing? Like, you're meant to be supporting us.
Oh,
I mean, inspiring us.
I didn't know
And then
this.
and then people were like, how dare she? But then at the same time, like, she didn't divulge it for a while, and people were like, oh, you see, like she had kept it a secret for a while. Like, why didn't she dive? So you're damned if you don't do and damned if you don't. But at the same time, it's that pressure again. It's like, wow, a professional athlete who has been one of the most fit and inspiring like women in the world still couldn't like find a way to naturally get her way back to. But also it made me realize she is, which we don't want to admit, she's human. She's a prospect or a product of the same pressure, because
she has an image to fulfill.
And this is what she said when she talked about it. She said, it's not where I want it to be. My body's not where I want it to be. But I'm like, girl, you've never been this small before. This is not a body you've ever had. Why is it a problem now?
Yeah.
It's not the fact that you need it to be this small when you were an athlete. It's that your perception has changed to where you feel like this is what you need. And need is a dangerous word, because you don't need, unless it's health dependent, life dependent, you don't need to look a certain way.
There's a level of desperation that comes with that.
And then that for me is when it was really sad. Scary. I was like, oh, this is sad.
That's disappointing.
Really, really disappointing. Oh, I remember I had a whole back and forth with one of my friends, and he and I were both like, "What?" Because we both used to talk about her musculature and her physique, and we
Yeah,
were both like, "Nah, she's written off." So yeah, it was disappointing, but like at the same time, you're disappointed in someone that didn't owe you something, but you're
it's
disappointed in their
true.
humanity. And so she has the pressure where she had the pressure where she was always talked about negatively for her physique when she was an incredible athlete.
Hmm.
She now obviously feels a pressure to have a different physique, maybe born of all of those years of that. Now she has taken a direction, whatever it might be, to alter that physique. But like,
I gotta, while we're doing this,
you
see
did
what
did you
she
not
looks like
know?
now. No.
Yeah, I mean, she's like still muscly, but like she has never looked like this in her life. Like she's never been a skinny chick.
Yeah, but
And she posted a photo of herself in the gym first before she admitted it. And it's the people responding to the photo who said, "Girl, that ain't you. Are you in there?" And then she came out with,
this one,
yeah, when has she ever looked like this?
I've never seen her arms like that. Like
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it's not her. Yeah, this is not, she's never looked like that.
How old is she now?
I think she's
Should
slightly
be in,
younger than me,
but
than
should be in
us,
her
I think.
40s,
Yeah,
no?
she's maybe 40, or maybe, I think Venus is maybe our age. And she's a little bit younger. She might be 39.
Like this is when, this is the other thing with glow ups is that you really can't keep up with anything either. Like in our 40s, we're supposed to be lifting heavy. We need to be protecting
Which, by the way, this should
our
happen regardless of what's happening
musculature,
in society.
like we
Always
need
lift
to
heavy.
be protecting our like our
Yeah.
skeleton, And then you see her and it's like
Yeah.
I don't know, that's not like you said, that's not the Serena I see. I'm like,
But even when she was like really like bigger, she wasn't fat. She had a lot of muscle. So she's
yeah,
like voluntarily done something to lose like
to
uh
lose all of that
yeah.
because I get Serena Williams 2025 Ozempic. That's what pops
Yeah,
up
it's
for
not
me.
Ozempic that she's on. She's on something
Ozempic.
else because she was talking about it and specifically saying the name of it because, and that's the other part of the backlash was that her brother, her husband is um,
On the
like
board.
on the board of that company. So she was basically like acknowledging it only because it, you know,
Yeah.
puts food on the table or whatever. I mean, their table's already full enough, to be fair.
I mean, it just goes back like that pressure to always look perfect and thin and whatever. Like that's never gone
You
away. This
can't
whole
ever do it right.
that plus size women era, like be comfortable in your body. I think that lasted like 2 seconds, if it
I
ever.
think it's still there as like the rhetoric is there. Like
Yeah.
people love to spout it and be like,
Yeah.
you know what? Like any shape is beautiful and any shade is beautiful, you know? Like just as you are.
Just like that.
That's the voice.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So that's always there, but in practice, I don't know if it's really, we're really as a society ready to consume that, but at the same time the people who are perpetuating it, they're not ready to let go of the thing that has made so much money for these
Yeah.
industries. And
Yeah.
ultimately, if it ain't broke, they're not going to fix
Exactly.
it. They're like, oh, we'll just adjust with the times. But the system stands. You know what's crazy about Serena too, and this just happened this week, I just thought about this, is yes, there's pressure from the expectation of people who are inspired by her, a lot of other women, mothers, etc., people like me, like people who train, people who have unconventional body type, all of this stuff, right? And then we've placed this pressure on her and this expectation of, girl, you can't change. You can't be, well, you can, but we're like,
Hmm.
don't do it in a way that, doesn't make sense. And so she has that. But then there's also the pressure, especially women, that women get from men. And this is funny because, for example, Serena, I don't know if you remember, we watched the Super Bowl halftime show, the
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar one, where she crip walked.
Yeah.
Now, she's from Compton, crip walk, there's a whole history behind it. She did that one time, I think it was at Wimbledon, at one of the
And she got
Grand
into
Slams.
trouble for
She
doing
was
it.
fined for doing that because they were like, oh, this is like gang behavior or whatever. And she was like, no, it's like just part of heritage culture. Which is a whole nother
Oh,
conversation, people being
yeah.
penalized for expressing culture. Anyway, So this was an opportunity for her to do something for the culture. And I think she even described it as such. And Kendrick, being who he is, of course, was like, come and do that. Now, people were like, her ex was Drake. Drake is in a battle with Kendrick. Her performing is kind of like a, to Drake. That's how some people took it, right? Now, I don't even want to say his name because I don't want to give him airtime. But if you guys know who Stephen A. Smith is, he's this guy that does, he has this show where he's just this, I don't even call him a pundit. He's this guy that has an opinion about everything, basically. And in most cases, he doesn't know shit about shit, but a lot of sports. And he has basically become, in my opinion, disclaimer, a puppet for whatever, platform he's working for. I think he's like on ESPN now. So Stephen A. Smith is a guy who, let's just say, unconventional looks in his face, but also an extremely receded hairline that is the butt of a lot of jokes. Now, this man took it upon himself this week to come at Serena and be like, or last week, which will be a couple of weeks when this airs, but to talk about the fact that, like, you know what, like, as a husband, if my wife is like getting on stage at the Super Bowl to do something that is like to like show up her ex, like she's still thinking about him, well, then you better just go back to him. Like, what are you doing as my wife?
Oh, geez.
So he says this. He's gotten in trouble a lot too for some of the stuff that he says, but I think now he's trying to play on it a little bit. But so he says this, right? Alexis Ohanian, Serena Williams' husband, is on the show for whatever, some other reason, a few days after that comment airs. Now he comes to the studio personally because he's hoping to see Stephen A. Smith in person. Stephen A. Smith is on Zoom. He's on the screen. And so this lady is talking and she's just like, what's married life like? And da-da-da-da-da. And Alexis is like, well, you know what? Like, yeah, speaking of married life, Stephen, you had some marital advice for me, which is odd because you've never been married, but you had marital advice for me. And it's kind of ironic because, I advise people who like on billion-dollar companies. And that's because I've created billion-dollar companies.
He's coming from
So he was basically like, stay in your lane.
Right.
And of course, Stephen A. Smith, as he usually does, suddenly was like, and was like, no, I mean, yeah, I'm not the guy to ask. I was just saying, yeah. Point being, 2 points actually. The greatest point is that Alexis stood up and like came for his woman, supported his woman, like, yeah, and did it like a man. And he was like, I'm surprised you're not in the studio. I was hoping to see you in person.
There was a reason why he didn't come
I was like,
to the studio. Like,
because he was talking so strong before, and then now his tone was so different when he was speaking with the husband. And he's like, I don't know anything about that. I think I was just, and even in the aftermath, he's been like, it was just an opinion. We were about to go on a commercial break. I was just kind of joking. And now, a woman cannot even just be somewhere as a side accessory to the performer doing something and even explain her reasons for doing it without being judged for the relationship of her actions to a man.
Yeah.
She is being defined by her relationship with Drake. Why can't she be seen as the individual that she is? Because if we were looking at her as Serena, we'd say she had this incident where she was fined for doing this. She's always represented the culture. She's always been put down for wanting to represent her culture and to be fiercely whatever it is that she stands for. And this was her opportunity to do that publicly on one of the biggest stages in the world. If we looked at her in her own right, but because she's been tied to the man who is not even a part of her life anymore, she's been defined by some receded hairline guy's definition or opinion of what that is. And the funny part is, that man has a platform to say something like that. Imagine a woman with a receded hairline or with lopsided boobs being like, I'm going to be the person that sits here and judges everyone else's actions and relationship.
No one's going to listen to her
or take her off seriously. The air. Yeah, she wouldn't even get that job to begin with. It's not even an
option.
Yeah, all you have to do is look at like the female versus the male correspondence on Fox News and be like, qualifications are not really a thing here. So I was like, wow, this is so indicative of what we're talking about, which is that pressure. So it doesn't only come from society at large and companies that essentially just want to make money, but it also comes from men who have been socialized to think a woman should behave and look this way. And regardless of what the hell he looks like, he has the right, or feels he has the right to speak on that.
Yeah.
And the public gives him a platform for it and pays him a lot of money. So this pressure that women get, men have it too, which we'll talk about, but women get it from all sides. We get it from each other. We get it from the industry. We get it from men. We get it from perpetuation of certain images. And
I think that's the worst part, is that we get it from each other, because we already know, like, with being in a patriarchal society, like, we're always going to get it from the opposite sex. We're always going to get it from,
yeah, there'll be
that.
an expectation.
So it's
or
like, for us to be doing it to each other
when we are suffering
when
through
we're
it together,
suffering through it together is like
the biggest like disloyalty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's another.
but I think this is also part of the industry, to keep us like fighting and bickering amongst ourselves, because divide and conquer.
Yeah.
So we're weaker when we're fighting amongst ourselves.
But since we are on the topic of men,
Mm-hmm.
we've talked about the pressures that women feel. I think we can also say that it's not just women anymore that are feeling that. Men are feeling it too. Like, you have these movements of men biohacking and doing cold plunges, which a cold plunge is like the equivalent to a woman journaling kind of thing, like it's their
Right.
way of regulating their emotions.
Yeah.
There is that level of pressure on men now too.
And there is, because even if you look at the cold plunge videos, a lot of them are like posed as like, I'm so badass. Yeah, the guys are usually pretty ripped. And it's always like, oh, when they get out. Like it's almost like this like showing of like, strength and like, oh, I'm such a man about my shit. Like, why does it have to be painted that way? Because we've seen some of you men when you get into cold water. And that is not that is not the outcome. In most cases. But I digress.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, the pressure, how you present.
Oh my god. I was not ready for that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Show us the realness too. But yeah, like I think you're absolutely right. Like with these guys who were like, oh, like I've measured my testosterone and I'm trying to reverse the aging process by, like that guy.
That guy.
Ridiculous.
I can't remember his name now, but
and then you have Liver King, who was like doing all of that stuff, and it turned out he was
taking taking steroids.
100%. The ironic part is, the irony is that the guy who was like on the juicing, the Liver King guy, and the guy who is like on all the supplements and like trying to do it like the most organic, natural way and like injecting his son's blood into him and stuff, their names are really similar.
Yes. I forget what
I think it's like one letter difference.
Yeah.
Like full names, there's only one letter difference. They have the same first name and the last name or something is different. And so if you're not sure, you can end up on like the one guy's page and not the other. It's odd how they both present as like in totally different ways.
Brian Johnson, I think.
Yeah. And then one has,
I think
like
they're
a
both
Y.
Brian Johnson,
One
but
has
one's
a
Y or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. And the fact that they are both like different, especially initially before the guy came out confirming that he was using that he was juicing, they were so different in their methods of like pursuing health, but both extreme, but really different. And they both had these huge platforms, but they disagree with each other's methods so much. And at the end of the day, they probably had people who were fans of both, and you had people who hated both, and then you had like people who were allegiant to one or the other. But at the end of the day, they had no control over how people received the information.
Yeah.
And yeah, so this is what's really hard. But one thing that they both perpetuated was that they were becoming manlier. Like, like one guy was like, I'm increasing my testosterone levels. I'm increasing my male hormone. I'm increasing this. I'm looking more ripped. So they were still both adhering to a certain aesthetic, even if it was different extremes or different parts of the spectrum of that aesthetic. One guy was like, I want to be super, super huge. But both of them were looking to look ripped. Both of them were looking to look like, as neither of them wanted to lose their hair, or neither of them wanted,
Yeah, they were
like,
focused a lot on the hair treatments, I remember.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I find like the balding is a big one for men. It's become a.
It's huge. Why do you think like the Turkish Airlines is so like packed?
I told you about my friend who was flying out of Turkey, and she was like, "Why is the entire cabin full of people with
Yeah.
like bandages on their head?"
Yeah.
It's weird though, because there's still not as big of a backlash. And maybe I'm wrong because I'm not a bald man, but I feel like there's just nowhere near as much pressure on men to um like age gracefully. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you go bald, you go bald. And a lot of men will just shave it all off.
Yeah.
And in
Well,
some
they can
cases,
get away with that.
but I think they can get away with it because society has trained us to
Yeah.
think that it's, yeah.
It's
And
okay.
so even if they have a pressure, it's never close to
Yeah.
what women kind of go through. Whereas a woman turning 60 is, or not even that, a woman turning 40 is in many cases, which we discussed, considered like as genetic material obsolete.
Mhm.
Like, you're worthless now.
You're
You're just
over the
taking up
hill, that's
oxygen in
it.
space. When in reality, what studies show is our eggs are good until about 50. And it's actually the
it's
quality.
quality of sperm that goes down with age. But we've been fooled this entire time to think that
We're the culprit.
the culprit. But
So,
that's also
ladies,
another.
date younger men. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's the quality of the sperm that depends on the lifestyle. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of it is that pressure is again put on women, and men don't even know what creates healthier sperm
Yeah.
because the information is not there to tell the truth about what those limits on procreation are. The other one I wanted to talk about for men, I think that I've seen a lot of, is like beard gang.
This I've never heard this
How have
term
you
before.
never? Beard gang?
Not until you mentioned it. Beard gang.
It's like, I don't know if it's like it's yeah, it's pretty common, but I think there's been this movement of like, definitely men having beards is much more now than when we were growing up. Like, it was rare that you'd
Like
see a
it was
guy
a
with
thing.
a full.
You would go, like, even my dad, I remember he would shave every morning.
Yep.
Like,
My
you
dad
go into
still.
work. I
Mhm.
think there was even like a lot of businesses. I know, for example, just my school alone, when I was in high school,
Yeah.
they expected part of the dress code was that
Clean
the
shaven.
men, the boys, were clean shaven.
Yeah, same with my
So it
school.
was like seen as less than if you had this
If you had
facial
this facial
hair.
hair,
Yeah,
or
it
like
was like
unkempt, or
unhygienic.
yeah, right.
Whereas now it's the opposite.
Now it's like
There's like a movement, from what I'm
literally
understanding.
there really is. There's a thing, and I'm gonna look it up just so I can like legitimize it here. But it is. People know what I'm talking about, and we see a lot more men with beards, and to the point where I think I don't even notice it as much now. Whereas growing up, I would be like, oh, so and so's dad has a beard, because he would be the one dad that has a beard. Whereas now, I can see a room full of men with beards and probably not even notice that they all have beards.
Right.
And so, and I think there's also this pressure on men, not just to like be like part of this beard gang, but to grow a healthy beard.
Yeah.
Like, and
part of their masculinity.
Yeah. And I think that there's been some now attachment socially to like, between like manliness and like the robustness of the beard or whatever. And I don't know, like, I feel like there is a pressure there, and men can correct us if we're wrong, but I do feel that there's a pressure there on men to not necessarily grow a beard, but to embrace some of these aspects that are considered like more manly, like the physiques, and certainly arms, like the vanity muscles and the biceps and stuff like that. That's old, but like non-receding hairlines. And I told you that story about my man's friends who were making fun of another one of their friends who went prematurely bald. He's not quite all the way bald, but receded prematurely. And men are like also quite mean with it to each other. He was saying in the group chat, like, they had a photo of that guy, and like one of the guys who's a graphic designer put another like copy of his face, his whole face, in the forehead space. So
That's mean.
And the guy is in that group chat. And I'm like, wow, men are on
Like,
another level.
aren't they afraid of karma? Like, that would be some.
Yeah, I think all of them would, if they were gonna go bald, that most of them would be bald now because they're all like in their 40s or approaching. But and there's ones who are going, but I'm like, yeah, this is true. And the guy who did it is also receding his hairline.
No way.
So, oh man, I'm telling you, there must be something about these receding hairline men and just wanting to talk shit. Like it's called the Stephen A. Smith
Maybe
syndrome.
maybe it's like there's an attachment to their manlyhood, to their hair. When they start losing it, they have to kind of compensate for it, and then they take on that typical,
Like
again,
attack,
this is very stereotypical, but like that male characteristic of where they, instead of really talking about their emotions, more like like
like
making a
making a
joke
joke
out
out
of
of
it,
it and
because
preempting.
it's their way of being in control. Because
Right,
I feel
right.
like
Let's make fun of
losing your
it.
hair, like for both men and women, like
Yeah,
losing your hair is like
big
it's a
deal.
big
It's a
deal.
big deal.
And it's hard to like control it too, because it's usually either a hormonal thing or a genetic thing. Like it's
Age, what
really,
you can't do
it's,
anything
yeah,
but
like you
surgery.
can have the best lifestyle, but you still
It's
can
still gonna
be
go. It's
losing
still
your
gonna go.
hair.
Although now they also have those male wigs now too. Have
Oh,
you
I
seen
haven't
them?
seen those.
I
I
saw
mean, of course
one.
I've seen male wigs, but like, they
No, they
had the
have some okay good
toupees.
ones.
Toupees have
No,
been
no,
a
no. Yeah,
thing.
yeah, not the toupees that we grew up seeing. The ones that
Okay.
were like gray, and then the guy's
Literally
hair on the
slept
side
up.
is brown. And throughout the conversation, it
Yeah,
just
yeah.
keeps shifting, and you're like, just looking at their hair. No, they have ones now where they're literally like gluing hair to people's heads. And there was a video that I saw. I don't know what my algorithm was on that day, but I got into the rabbit hole because I watched one video and now you're in because now like
Yeah,
all of my explore page is
it's
just
over.
man wig.
Yeah.
And this guy, like you know how like black guys get like the lineup and the
The
fade?
fades, yeah.
They have a wig that is like a lineup and a
You're
fade.
kidding.
They showed the
You're
whole process.
kidding.
I watched like perplexed and yet completely engrossed at how like the guy glue on the head and then he gets this like pieces of hair and sticks them on. Then he literally does like a proper haircut on this glued hair, gives it the fade and keeps the top long. There was another one that was a full wig that he just put down on the guy's head and flipped it down and it had the lineup and a whole fade already on it, long in the middle, like a
You're
number two
kidding.
here and a number. I was like,
Wow.
and like always, the men's technology in this area looks better than the women's.
Shit.
Because, yeah, like,
This
I mean, we still have not perfected,
we know
like,
where the research development is going, where the money is going.
the R&D is going to the man
It's
wigs
just,
because I was like, I have never seen
by
a
now
lace
you would
front
have,
look this
yeah,
flawless. And we've been having lace fronts for decades and they still don't look as good
yeah.
as this man wig. Like I would see that guy and it's crazy because it really does. It took like a decade off this guy's hair. I mean, off of his hair, off
His
of his
head.
age.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
age.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh, okay. He came in
Okay.
like grandpa, but
Yeah.
hey, uncle, on the way out, like he was looking kind of all right. And this is probably part of my socialization as well, because I'm like, why should I assume that just because a guy's lost his hair is old? There's men who like we had a guy in high school who went bald at like 16.
Oh,
Yeah, it was kind of sad.
probably had
And he had a lot of
whatever
hair
that.
everywhere else on his body, which is kind
Yeah.
of. But the look suits him. I think the last I saw, he was bald and he had this big beard, and which is hard for a lot of men to pull off. And
Yeah.
it looks really good on him. He
Okay.
looks like a white Rick Ross,
Oh,
minus the body.
hello.
Yeah, it works. It works. Yeah. So anyway, to each their own. But the point being, men have these pressures as well.
They do.
And it's hard to try and think about how to change that around for all of us because we all want to see someone who's inspiring. And we said the glow up. We all want to see like something that's like, wow, she looked like this before she had kids, or her pregnancy was really difficult, and then she came out and she like really worked hard and like look at her and she's even stronger and now she's 60 and she's stronger than she was when she was 40. Like we all love like a story like that. um, but at the same time, I think what would serve to legitimize it is having the journey being told because
That I hear you, and
Mhm.
I'm totally about that.
Mm.
But I see why people don't want the journey is
Yeah.
because if they were to really put all of the entire process out there for everyone to see from
So,
A
yeah,
to Z,
it's not possible.
people would be like, oh, this is exhausting. I want to look at this and think that I can wake up tomorrow and look like that. Or I can go into the doctor's office or look like that and look like that overnight. Or I can
Yeah.
take a pill
And look like
and look
that.
like that
Yeah.
overnight. But if
Yeah.
I really have to, she started doing this. She looks like this at 60 because she's been doing this since she was
Just
30 or
yeah.
40.
I'm already
I'm
40, so
already
I'm already
40. Like,
behind
I'm
the
screwed. Like, forget it, you know?
yeah, this is
So we
it.
want that real,
Quick.
raw, like honesty. But
But
at the same time, I think it's a tough pill for us to swallow if
to
we are
understand
to
really the depth of
understand.
the work
Yeah,
for
because,
those who work for it.
yeah,
Yeah.
because we ourselves maybe are not prepared to put in the work.
Yeah. And this is hard. That's the difficulty of the discussion because it's like, where do you get the real inspiration and the realness of people saying you have to work for it?
Yeah.
You have to do the hard yards and then still being able to say, yes, that's what I need to do and I'm going to do it and gain inspiration from that. Like, where do you draw the line between that, where that stops being inspirational and then starts being like exhausting and
Yeah.
overwhelming and like,
Hmm.
demoralizing
Yeah.
basically. This is really difficult. We were talking about, because this is another place where that line is really blurry between like positive effect and negative, was the Victoria's Secret show,
Hmm.
which they stopped for several years because like women were like, okay, so I'm never going to look like that, so my life is over. And they were
Oh,
like,
I didn't know they stopped that.
yeah, this is the first time they've had it back since, or the second time. No, they resumed it last year and it was the first time since, yeah,
Okay.
because they used to have it every year and then they stopped it for like a while
Because of the
because,
negative backlash. It was like,
yeah.
okay.
And so I think they rebranded
Uh-huh.
and they came back and were like,
It's
okay,
all
we'll
about
throw a
branding,
few
guys.
plus size girls in there, a little bit more diversity, and mix it all up,
Yeah.
spit it out. And so that kind of worked last year, I guess. And then now they did it again. And this year they opened the show with Jasmine Tukes, who is 9 months pregnant. I think she's still pregnant, but any day now. Because she was 9 months pregnant and she opened the show. And as a woman of color, I think she's only the second Black woman to open the show ever, and she did it when she was 9 months pregnant. So like all of these like woo women winning and pregnant women and Black women and all of these like boxes ticked
Yeah.
with just one person. So yes, outstanding, amazing. She looked incredible,
She looks flawless.
like literally.
Like
She looks like this gold statue. Yeah,
flawless in the
yeah.
video. Like you're watching her and you're going,
You can't stop looking at her basically.
I did not look like that
And
when I
then
was
yeah,
nine
and
months
I'm looking at
pregnant.
her belly and I know what that size and that like weight does to your balance. And then she's in these heels, strutting and killing, and I'm like, amazing.
Yeah.
So I was so happy and I was like cheering. I was like jumping up and down on that couch. I was like, yo. And then I was like,
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
hold up.
This is another level of pressure now.
Yeah, because I was like, thank God I'm done, I think, having kids. But if I was to say I'm going to go through this process again, and this is now the standard.
Yeah.
I think it's her second kid. Yeah. So this is now the standard of what 9 months pregnant looks like. Same thing with Rihanna, like all of her fashion with her like belly out and all of that, which I think is so beautiful. I think it's so great to like normalize like the belly
Yeah.
of a pregnant woman because
I
we
agree.
grew up with that like being something that you hide.
You did. You were always, women even
Loose.
wore really loose
Yeah,
clothing.
yeah.
Like it wasn't about,
You had to buy special clothing
Yeah.
just to cover it. And I'm like, I love that we can just wear the same shit as long as it's stretchy.
yeah.
So all of this is really good stuff. But like this beautiful, amazing like image of this woman walking down this runway 9 months pregnant in like underwear. I was like, this now I know that there's 9 months pregnant women at home who were watching the show and
This
were
bitch.
like,
This
and
bitch.
if they were next to something where they could see their own reflection, probably glanced over and were like feeling empowered and feeling seen, and at the same time feeling a new sense of pressure. So
Yeah.
there's this niche that's represented that you within that niche you've created another like exclusivity.
Yeah.
Um and I don't know what the solution is. I could definitely see that, because I was like, well, she could have talked about the journey. She could have been like, which she did a little bit. And I'm not saying it's essential, but I'm saying I know that if I was 9 months pregnant feeling like shit, it would be good to know, and for her to be like, listen, first of all, I was really sick and I pulled it together for the show, or whatever it is. And even if she wasn't sick, or I felt, really energized because it was this, and, oh my God, it was so hard to walk in those heels, but I made it and I practiced. And I think she talked about that a bit as well. And then I saw this scene like somewhere, this shot of her, because I was like, she's just glowing. Like, yes, I
Yeah.
glowed, but I never glowed like
Yeah.
that. Oh my God, she looks like, I told you, she looks like an Oscar statue. And there was like this video of Pat McGrath like slathering her in in her own Jasmine's own like this like body glow stuff, and like you could see as soon as it went on, like there was this beautiful amazing glow, and I was like,
Ah.
oh, so we too can look like this. But
Yeah.
it was almost like, okay, good, because I never had that kind of a glow. But also just, I think, to humanize the moment, um, and connect with people more. But it's difficult, because at the same time, I wanted to see a really beautiful pregnant woman walking in the Victoria's Secret show. Like,
Yeah.
I never knew I needed that, but when I
Yeah.
saw it, I was like, yes, this
Yeah.
is amazing, and I'm so glad they did that. But then at the same time, I'm like, oh my God.
I think for people like Jasmine or any
Mm,
celebrity or any influencer, if they have a platform, I think they have a responsibility to show that other
the
side of it,
real
the real side of it. Whether we take it or not
is up to
is
us.
up to us. But I think they have a responsibility to show that, because people are literally looking to these celebrities as gods. You know what I mean? Like, we look at them as something to aspire to.
Mm,
We don't know anything about their personal lives, what
right.
happens behind closed doors, but aesthetically, that's what I want to
That's
look
what we
like.
see.
Regardless, it could be
Yeah.
the most evil person on this planet, but if they're all like tucked in the right places, and this is all working and
There'll
this is all
be
working, and
something that we
there'll be
say, I want
something
that.
that I want to look like that. So I think it is their responsibility to lay all the shit out there. Like,
But this is where it becomes difficult, right? Because if you go back to like the Britney Spears era, where people were like, Britney is young and she is wearing like crop tops. And now like little like 10-year-old or teenage girls are now like wanting to wear crop
mhm.
tops. And they were like, shame on you, Britney. You're such a bad influence because you're making pop music for this generation or for this
Yeah.
demographic. And you're responsible for now these girls wanting to get a boob job, or you're responsible for these girls not feeling blonde enough or wanting to dress a certain way. And there's she's not the only one that's faced that kind of backlash. There's a lot of artists who've been like, I'm not responsible for bringing up your kids, like I didn't sign
No,
up for that. And I
you're right.
agree 100% with what you said, but it's also so hard to, again, to nuance, to be
Yeah.
like, I don't have a responsibility to, and I think you've said it the right way. We can't change minds. Like, you can't control how people take it. All you can do is show up in your most
Yeah.
authentic way.
Yeah.
But for some people, that might not seem authentic. Like, maybe for her, she's like, this is how I wake up. Like, this is my authentic.
Right.
And to someone who's looking at that might be like, "Oh, it's not." But
No.
maybe for her, it really is. Um, and so this is what is so hard to navigate. This is what terrifies me, actually, about what you asked at the beginning, which was that whole having a platform and now navigating social media and putting content out there. Um, you can't control how it's going to be received,
Yeah.
which is really
That
scary.
you yourself,
As the
for you as an example, you have a responsibility now too.
Yeah, yeah, because
So do
I
I.
feel
Like, for
that.
everything I put out there, like,
Right.
we may not have a huge following yet, but and I say yet, but like, whatever, anything that we put out there can be misconstrued, or it
Yeah.
can be taken in the wrong light. But no, I hear what you're saying.
It's such a
It's a
hard
hard
navigation.
it's hard to navigate, but in response to like the Britney Spears era, like, that was like, she had reps who were like, this doesn't work. what your look looks like now doesn't work. We need to change that up, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she felt a pressure to conform to them
Yeah, and she
because
was, I
they
mean,
are like her
really,
managers. They're like,
she
this
was
is
a
what
child
needs, yeah,
herself.
she's a child herself. So it's like, then maybe the responsibility doesn't fall. I don't know. But I would feel like, especially now, because Britney Spears, there was no social media. Like that wasn't a thing, like in the
Yeah, it's sort of,
90s, like
yeah,
late 90s,
early
early
2000s, it was sort
2000s.
of just starting.
So now it's almost like, okay, now the Britney Spears of our time, for our kids' sake, for example, can do that. They
I
can
wouldn't
be
know.
like,
Who would be the Britney Spears of our time? I don't even know.
would it be like
Would it be like a Glorilla or like
maybe like Billie I but I'm trying to
oh
think
yeah,
of like
Billie
a
Eilish is
literal
cute.
like someone who
Like
looks like
Jojo Siwa, maybe? But she's more of like a younger demographic.
maybe.
Um, but I do know Cardi B, maybe Nicki Minaj. I know there's
But
a
even Nicki
younger
Minaj like has had so much work done.
and she actually has been targeted for how she presents and how that has influenced
Yeah.
women. So yeah, she's faced similar backlash
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, she has.
Which I'm not saying don't get work done. Like don't nobody get me wrong in this. When I
We're
say
also
you
not
have a
saying go ahead and get
responsibility,
work
I'm not
done.
saying go ahead and do it, but I'm saying if you do it, if you do all of the treatments, if you do like don't pretend that you just rolled out of bed and you look like that.
Right.
Like own up
Especially if
to
you're
it.
going to have a platform. If
If
you're
you
going to
have
have
a
a platform
platform.
where you're being, um, viewed or followed for
Yeah.
certain parts of it, then yeah, like that's something that you should speak honestly to. Um, and especially if you know you have influence.
That's
Yeah.
where, yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Like
Yeah.
if you
Yeah, I
have
agree.
that influence, then
I agree.
you really do have a responsibility.
And so just use your powers for good, I guess,
Well, I
as
guess
much as
that's probably
possible.
why, like, if we're talking about purchasing power, it's probably why you won't get a lot of the rawness because
What does it make
what
you want to
is,
buy?
yeah,
Except for therapy sessions.
exactly,
That's it. There's no
exactly,
bottom line that
yeah,
really increases
yeah,
with yeah, someone being like, this is how difficult it was.
yeah.
Um, yeah, which is unfortunate, but this is the society in which we live.
Society,
Yeah, very
society,
capitalist still. So,
yeah.
and maybe that is where the answer is not really with like dealing and putting out all these little fires that are symptomatic,
But
but
going to the,
yeah, the crux, the real,
hmm,
the illness itself, and being like, this is what we need to change. Which,
I don't know where we would even start.
yeah, not our
If you
lifetime.
have suggestions on how that
How
is
to conquer
possible
capitalism? I
to
think
conquer.
every generation has asked that point,
How
that
can
question.
Flex in the City take capitalism on?
The little podcast in this tiny little corner of the world. Change
Hashtag
it.
say no to capitalism. It would be great for if we are going through all these glow ups to just kind of go back to it being our own personal journey versus something that we have to put on a show for everyone.
Hmm.
And maybe like, you know, continue to age in private gracefully or, like
Hmm.
maybe the real glow up is not needing everybody to see it.
Right.
Like
Right.
that is the real
Yeah.
takeaway from
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
like if I'm gonna go through these glow up, I'm gonna do this glow up journey
Right.
that I don't need validation from others. I don't need to put on a show for others.
Hmm.
And I do it for me. That's one side of it. The other side could be like, okay, if I am gonna put on a show for people, I want to do it to inspire people
Right. And
and not
irrespective
fool.
of the analytics, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna do
Yeah.
what feels
And
authentic
just
and
show
feels
up.
weird. Yeah. Weird? Real? Did I say weird?
I don't know.
Authentic and real. It's because I heard something back there and it distracted me. Did you hear it
I
also?
did.
I saw you turn and I was like,
It's
I
like that
heard
happens
something.
every now and
That
then.
happened that other time. And I was like, is there a bird behind the radiator or something?
Something drops every now and then.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Authentic and real is what I meant to say.
Yes, not weird.
Yeah. And if that's your authenticness, then be
That
weird.
is also welcome.
More of that. And yeah, I think that's probably all I have to say on
Yeah,
that at this point.
I think we
Over
can
to
end it
you.
there.
Mm-hmm.
We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. As always, if you have made it this far and you haven't followed or subscribed or liked, do that now. There's a button here somewhere.
Oh, I haven't been putting it in the screen. There will be
Here, where
a
my
button
where
here.
here. There'll be a
Oh, a
button.
button. I don't know how to do it as like a link.
No, but I have it already in the bottom corner. There's already like a little YouTube thing.
Yeah,
And
that's the one I know,
that
but it's
should
not
be,
going to be on the screen.
but here, down, somewhere here,
You'll see
somewhere.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
subscribe, follow,
Yeah.
share, all of the things.
Show us some love.
Yeah. And if you're listening without looking at us, that's fine.
You can still show us love on
Definitely.
Spotify and Apple.
Yes,
We love it.
we do.
It makes us look good in our analytics.
Which are totally not important.
Totally not important, and we're not, showing up for the analytics.
Never heard of her. Who's she?
Oh man.
But yes, thank you guys for that. Thank you also for our new subscribers. We see you and thank you for joining. Hopefully you will continue to enjoy and catch up as well on the older content. And what was the other thing I wanted to say? We are hoping maybe to do another Instagram live soon.
Yes.
Because we had a really good time with the first one that we did.
I think we should do that more often.
Yeah, I agree. So we're going to find time sometime to do that. And we'll let you guys know in advance. So if you do have questions or discussion topics, content, whatever, about anything, whether it's for the live or for a topic, feel free to let us know and we'll see what we can fit in.
So till next time.
Bye.
Bye.